had the lotto. I'm coming through like 100 doing this 1 and 2s. You don't know if the smoke from the gun I told, from the blunt I blew. Got them sick as the flu. But this she be humming too. Got your chicken in here and she think it's the tension in here when the enemy near. What the you wanna do? I'm a G.
Yeah, yo, what is the deal? What is the deal? Welcome to the No Pick Show. With no hand holding. We do facts, not emotion. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification if you haven't already. I'm with my dog, Just A Davis, tapping in from Miami. How's everything going, brother?
Yeah. Fantastic, dog. Fantastic. Y'all, listen, you got to give me a little bit of benefit of the doubt for what happens on this particular show, man. I'm on vacation right now. But when news speaks, you know what I'm saying? We got to do what we got to do to deliver the message to the masses.
Yeah, you know, this one, it kind of came across our table a little urgently, truthfully.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Appreciate all y'all tapping in. What's happening with your E-Dog, Talking for Life, Jeremy, Cullen in the building, man. Shout out to everybody, homie Fist, Clarence in the building, Abe, what's happening? So, you know, the rumor mill has been swirling. You know, things been, especially on my end, things been a little slow motion. I know, make sure y'all tap in with Pels in the Blender. They consistently putting out content. Shaq Zilla, what's happening with your broski? Yeah, so I'm out of commission right now. I'm on house arrest. I ain't supposed to be here. So the rumor mill been swirling, you know what I'm saying? Of course, just to cut straight to the chase, the Clippers have a bit of a log jam along the perimeter.
Yeah.
Pelicans seem to be in the same boat. The Kawhi trade is still pending. And there's potentially an avenue that the Clippers could take, and that would be just jettisoning Ben Mathurin.
Yep.
Just unceremoniously, like, I ain't been going about your business. It don't appear that they want him there anyway. Otherwise, the deal would have been done. The investigation is still pending. We still don't know what's going on with that. Kawhi living his life as if he giant guy.
He think he going to Toronto. He living it like he ain't tripping.
Yeah, Kawhi, like, come down to it. I'm gonna just tell on them. Cause I view it like this. I can ask for whatever I want. It's up to you to give it to me as ownership and make a way. But you know, Ballmer, big balls, Ballmer. You know, the league ain't gonna disrespect his mind too much, and they're gonna be on eggshells when dealing with him. So, I think a lot of things are pending that deal, but this seems like the Ben Mathurin thing could be expedited based on some of the things we've heard behind the scenes. But it remains to be seen. You know what I'm saying? We hear a lot of things. So hopefully this is something that comes to fruition. What are your thoughts on potentially Ben Mathurin being available in a non-traditional way? Like maybe it's not via trade.
I think with this particular offseason, we've seen the way the restricted free agents have been handled specifically. I think anything is on the table when it comes to them. And you've seen, again, we don't know from Ben Mathurin's agency if they're like trying to hold firm for a particular number, or if they're, you know, as the Clippers begin to like kind of move forward, we don't know like if the promise for minutes is there, if the promise for playtime is there, you know, who's like on the outs in that scenario. So it's just kind of like the way this offseason has been playing out. Peyton Watson found himself in a very fortunate situation. You see Kuminga, they've been talking recently about Kuminga maybe being willing to settle for that deal
to the Lakers.
That they offered him weeks ago. You know, still don't know what's happening with Duran and a couple other guys. So like Ben Mathurin, you know, you saw this happen with Cam Thomas last year, where he ended up having to sign, I think, the qualifying offer, or shit, even less than that. But it's kind of like you might find yourself in a situation where a team just decides, you know what, we're better off just moving on from you in some form of capacity. If you notice, a lot of teams lately, this particular NBA cycle, the way ownership works is they've been allowing players to go find deals. They allow Trae Young to go find the Wizards. They allow, you know, they've been allowing players that, hey, go find a deal. We'll see if we can make it work for you and get you wherever you want to be. So I just think it's highly possible with Ben Mathurin that, you know, as far as the Clippers go, once they signed Bradley Beal, I felt like that was the writing on the wall for Ben Mathurin in LA.
That was such a bizarre deal, but that's why it's good to have
Yeah,
a good agent, right? Because that was
yes.
such a bizarre deal.
We did not see that one come out of anywhere. Like Bradley Bill, if I'm not mistaken, he was hurt, missed all the last
I
season,
forgot
and
Bradley Bill's in the league, bro.
exactly,
I
that's
totally
crazy.
forgot. I know. I saw this from a couple people today that the Pelicans had some rumored interest in DeMar DeRozan potentially. I don't know how true it is, but I saw a couple people mention that. But
Didn't DeMar officially sign with Denver? I think he officially signed with Denver,
yeah,
if I'm not
I think
mistaken.
at this point
Okay.
he signed with Denver. So my question would be really what's in this for the Clippers, right? If it is something as non-spectacular as like, go ahead, look, bro, we just don't worry about the qualifying offer. We just gonna go ahead and buy you out, or we can just gonna go ahead and just let you do whatever you want to do. And the
Yeah.
Pelicans could potentially sign him for a deal and don't have to worry about matching him. Now, I don't know if that's even an option, but let's just say it is, and the Pelicans could just sign him without having to worry about the Clippers matching whatsoever. And then they reroute Hawkins in some other deal, maybe Memphis, something we had heard mentioned a couple of weeks ago. It's now you still run into the question is like, all right, where are the minutes coming from? And I'm sure that that's something important to Ben Mathurin and his representation, because even if it's a 2-year deal, let's say me and you discussed this earlier, but let's say it's like 2 years, 24 million, second year being the team option, right? Or even a player option. Let's say you want to look out for Ben, say Ben will give you a player option.
Yeah.
I'm still playing for my next contract. Ben Mathurin's 23 years old, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like, yo, how am I going to get these minutes? How am I going to position myself for the next payday? When you look at it from that regard, like, where do you think the Pelicans need to clear space and not aside from just a roster spot? Where do you see the Pelicans needing to clear space in this scenario?
I think signing Ben Mathurin, especially if it's like a 2-year deal, like and one being a team option, early in the season will probably be like, I think you'd have to sell it to Ben as if like, hey, look, this is like, give us some time to sort this out to a degree, because I think there is a move available with Hawkins to just acquire, that they can move to be able to acquire Ben for the roster spot. I think the issue they run into is who else has to be moved, and you don't quite know just yet what players you're going to keep and or move. So I just think the early parts of the season, you might have to sell it to Ben. It's like, look, I'm gonna need you to be a little bit patient, but we're going to figure, like, the season is, bro, this season starts, and it's like, if they were to make this deal relatively soon, if it's truly available, if they were to make a deal soon and bring Ben Mathurin on, and we're talking about training camp in September, right? Something can happen in November, December, and you still have a bunch of season left to be able to like clear a definitive role. And to be honest, by November, December, you can know like what Herb's play is going to look like, what Sadiq's play is going to look like, what maybe some of your other role players are going to look like early in the season, and you still have, okay, this is how we need to pivot moving forward. So I just think like early in the season, you have you get the talent, and then you say, okay, now that I have that security, I need, and Ben, to be honest, if they offered Ben 2 for 24, that's security that he's not getting anywhere else. So
Especially not at this
realistically,
point.
yeah. So if that's the scenario, it's like, look, we'll take care of you from a financial standpoint because you're not getting that opportunity, but I need you to be patient, right? I think it's people helping people. So I think that's kind of how they approach it, if it is truly something available.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to juggle in this scenario. Whoa, what up with your coach? Shout out to coach in the building. Shout out to Dakari also. Yeah, there's a lot of things to juggle in this scenario, because the question I walk away with is what's in it for the Clippers. And even if it's like, for example, let's say even if they generated a trade exception around $9 million, there is something you can do with that. But most trade exceptions don't traditionally get used. shout out to Clarence as far as what does Ben mean for Poole. I would imagine that Poole is starting the season on the Pelicans. I think where it gets a little clunky again is when it depends on, I guess, what version of Ben Mathurin you're getting. If you're getting the Indiana version from last year, that would be ideal because you're talking about a guy who was a sniper from beyond arc last year in Indiana before moving to the Clippers, where things got a little messed up for us, his shooting from beyond arc. But ultimately, I think Poole is going to be moved maybe at the deadline or just let walk away. Poole's still a useful player. The issue lies in you have a bunch of players that aren't necessary. I don't want to say they're not useful, but they don't necessarily contribute to what your end goal is. And what do you do with them? Like where are these guys going to be comfortable just saying, look, you may only play X amount of minutes. And if you're unhappy with that, this is for the greater good. It's for the big picture. It's about sacrifice. If you're uncomfortable with that, I'm going to find somewhere for you to go. Don't worry about it. Just let me just hold off. I'm going to find somewhere for you to go. And that's what I think you're going to have to wrestle with. If this comes to fruition, I'm saying if it comes to fruition, truthfully, I got to see the deal get, across the finish line. But this is something that we've heard is potentially like close.
Yeah. This is the closest that from what we've heard that they've been to a deal. And honestly, at the end of the day, the first thing that has to happen is the Clippers have to make some sort of determination on what they're doing. So nothing happens until the Clippers kind of decide what they want to do with Ben Mathurin, and then we move forward. So, like, something has to take place first, in my opinion. Like, if you see Hawkins moved, or you see something happens with Ben Mathurin, that'll be like the trigger to what's going on. Also, if this Ben Mathurin deal is done, it's possible what they might just do is say, okay, now that we have that secured, right? And it's secured for a relatively good number. They might, again, I know you talk about consolidation, but they might be more aggressive about, buying up or like going shopping or depending on what it is they do to acquire Ben Mathurin, then you might see more of a deal where it's like, okay, we might do a 2-for-1 Poole. And again, I'm just using this as an example because if you follow both of the shows, we've talked extensively about MPJ and a bunch of the different options that opens up for you. But if you did do Mathurin, and I know a lot of people, correlate that to Poole or Herb or something like that, then maybe you do the 2-for-1 Poole and Herb, and you go try and get MPJ, and then maybe you're willing to give give Mathurin maybe a little bit more. You bring back another player that kind of fits a little bit more to kind of help the balance of the roster. So it's just possible that the thing that's on the table could be, once we get this done, it could be the trigger for another move that kind of makes the roster fit more seamlessly.
Thanks. Shout out to Tennessee. And I wanted to ask you a question about your point as well. I just wanted to address this about Tennessee real quick.
No, you're good.
Can I ask why they're so dedicated to getting more wing help where we arguably have the biggest log jam at instead of any form of front court depth? Well, we have a lot of wings, but they don't all necessarily do the things you would need. I would say at this point, you might have 3 wings that can shoot and, defend a little bit and rebound. But then, like, once you get down, truthfully, once you get to Herb, it's just like all Herb does is defend. Micah Peavy, at this point, all Micah Peavy does is defend. You don't know exactly what Bryce is just yet, but let's pencil him in as a guy who can shoot and defend a little bit. So that would be Trey Murphy, who may or may not be here long term. Herb Jones, who may or may not be here long term. Sadiq Bey and Bryce. Like, it's just a lot of people, but it's not necessarily a lot of guys you anticipate contributing, I would imagine.
If you don't mind,
go ahead.
I think 2 things to the question. I think one of the first things is it gives Mosley a like just thinking about it, it gives Mosley a little bit of variety as well to kind of figure out how this team needs to play, right? Because you might want to go with a more offensive look and, play more Sadiq Bey, Ben Mathurin together. If they, off the bench or whatever, that maybe one starts and then you follow up with another one if the scoring and defense isn't a significant drop off. If Herb is playing, like really a really good version of Herb Jones and gets his 3-point shooting back, then it's kind of like, well, shit, maybe now maybe I can play bigger wings or something like that. I just think initially, because of what you said, how they're all different types of players, I think it'll give Jamal Mosley a little bit of flexibility with what they're doing, as opposed to initially it's just kind of like if you got a bunch of, like, let's just say before we got Sadiq Bey, you had Herb, Dyson, and fucking in a PB type or whatever. Then it's kind of like, if it don't matter if I sub them out, all three of them are the same
player,
guy. Yeah. So it don't do much for me. I can't really play a bunch of varieties. Then as far as like the bigs, I just think they're going into this season and truly giving the bigs an opportunity to show what they have, because you've mentioned this a good bit. Eve is going into year 3. You got to show and prove. Can you be a starting center or whatever? And then Derek Queen was, the number 13 overall pick. You want to just give those players runway to play. And I think that's why you see more wing help than front court help.
Yeah. And also, I mean, two things. One is totally non-related. I'm tired of them bloodline dudes. I'm tired of all of them saying the N-word, because I'm like, y'all don't have y'all own epithets y'all can use. Like, y'all, I know y'all gotta have, everybody got an epithet. Y'all gotta have some epithets y'all can call each other aside from the N-word. Cause boy, like what do we gotta get? Do we gotta go somewhere with this? Like what are we doing here? But anyway, aside from that, my thing is that just crossed my mind. But aside from that, the thing is also, if Ben Mathurin was to become just a unrestricted free agent, would the Pelicans be at the top of his list? As far as teams that could offer him the most money. Shout out to Talking for Life. So I hope you're enjoying Florida. Yeah,
appreciate it, though. Good
like
times.
the teams that could offer him the most money. There's a world again where the Pelicans could potentially offer him close to the full MLE if they're able to move Hawkins without taking any salary back. But I kind of wonder, like, at this point, because this entire
offer him the MLE, though.
Probably not the full MLE, right? But yeah. I do think they could get close, like 12, 13.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they're still close enough from, I'm saying they're enough away from the luxury tax the way it wouldn't be an issue to offer him that amount of money. And this would pretty much be the final move of the season. Now you're just looking at everyone just, doing that thing internally, like internal growth at that point. Yeah. They're on a ton of teams that could off, be in the running to offer him that type of money. Of course, you got Chicago. I think they could offer roughly like 10 million. You got a few other teams. There's always a surprise team. Maybe something crazy happens. He decides to ring chase. He wants to go to, maybe he goes to Boston. Like, what I'm saying? Maybe go to Philly, Cleveland. Like, there's shit like that always happens. Surprisingly.
I'll say this. I don't think I was about Ben. Ben just played in the finals not long ago. I think Ben is trying to get, at this point, like NBA security. Like I need to go in a situation, and I personally, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way for anybody on the Pelicans team, but if you get an opportunity to go to a team like the Pelicans, they have a really good system for like you being able to play and perform if you're solid, and then being able to get like NBA money moving forward. Like Najee made himself into a player and then went on to get NBA money. Like Dyson left in a trade. Now Dyson was a lottery pick, and so has Ben Mathurin, went on to get real NBA money. Jose signed for another deal in New York or whatever the case may be. So if I'm Ben, like before I go to, let's just say Philly or the Lakers, for example, where bruh ain't nothing guaranteed in that situation. And you don't like, I just think a player like Ben Mathurin, if he's here, ultimately he's going to find his way into like heavy rotational minutes.
The type of player he is, and of course he helps you with scoring, rebounding, getting to the free throw line. I just at shout out to the homie Lonnie in the building. Shout out to the homie Bree. Bree said you add Ben and Mosley. You add Ben and Mosley has never had a more talented offensive team. I totally agree. Totally agree. As far as offensive versatility between Zion, Fears, Derek, Trey, Sadiq Bey, all those guys, Ben Mathurin, Jordan Poole. This would undoubtedly be the best offensive team, at least on paper. What was that? And what you most hated? Shout out to the homie, man. So, because there's always the chance that something goes awry and the deal doesn't come to a completion. At this stage, I feel like everything they set it up for the Pelicans. Like, look, man, here,
it's all lined up. It's all in line.
Here you go. Just take them right. What scenario could you see this deal falling apart? Maybe the Clippers say, on second thought, give us this.
Clippers,
or maybe a third team, because now we're gonna have to transition to Hawkins because you got to move Hawkins to a third team. Maybe that third team says, you know what, we changed our mind. We want 3 seconds or something. My bad. We want 3 seconds. Well, how could you see this deal potentially falling apart? Shout out to the homie Bayou Sniper. Make sure y'all go tap in with his channel as well.
Absolutely. The initial thought is that because the Clippers are in such a situation where they don't have to do anything, right? And I think the contingency of the Pelicans getting Ben is getting Ben on a disc, like getting Ben for a steal, right? So I think the issue would be if the price for Ben becomes more than a steal, then I think that's the hang up, right? But at the same time, they'll have I think the Pelicans have genuine interest in Ben Mathurin. So I don't know if like, let's just say Ben was like, oh yeah, instead of 10, I want 11. I think they might be like, okay, maybe, but I wonder if something like that could probably kill the deal, where like they might have agreed to a number and then last minute just say, hey, we want this instead. Or again, like you mentioned, like something with Hawkins initially, like if we all know that the reported deal has been Hawkins to Memphis, which was reported weeks ago. Now to this point, what Memphis still has other players that they have to move, right? So like, what if they just be like, well, the team that we initially had, like, I don't know, just long shot scenario. I don't see none of this. Whoa, was good, bro. I don't see none of this being the case, but like hypothetically, like extreme hypothetically, what if like one of the teams that they were going to send some of their players to were the Lakers, and then the Lakers are getting ready to do this Kuminga deal. So now Memphis is like, well, fuck, we can't take Hawkins because the spot that we were going to send somebody isn't available anymore. That's how it goes in the league. There's always some trickle down effect of things that could ultimately hurt you.
To me, if you're not moving Herb or PV or Bryce or any of those guys, right? And it was just Hawkins going out. To me, it's the cleanest way to do this. Still, I still believe this would be to move Hawkins to Memphis for AJ Johnson and just waive AJ Johnson. It's a $1 million hit. That still would leave you in just about enough room to offer Ben 10 to 11, if I'm not mistaken.
As long as Ben is comfortable if that's the number he's.
And I'm gonna say this. Now, to me, that's another thing that could fuck the deal up. Because if Ben is just like, I need 15 of them things, I'm like, well, Ben, you ain't getting that nowhere, brother. Just not at this stage. That's just not the market. Like, you know what I'm saying, bro? You got to go on about your business. And in that scenario, best of luck to you. Because for one, I'm not going in luxury tax for this move. Also, I need just enough breathing room in the event that I pull off a trade during the season and it's somewhat, uneven, and I need just enough breathing room to where, I want to keep at least $1 million away from the luxury tax.
That's part of my thinking as well. Is like, if let's just say the Clippers are like, we're not worrying about doing this deal via like some form of trade, right? Like, we're not worrying about it some form of trade. And then Ben is like, oh, all right, well, cool. If I'm gonna just essentially be unrestricted, you could, if you move that guy, you could offer me all of that money, as opposed to, well, I'll take a little bit of a cut because I'm restricted. You got to, do it via trade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trying to be flexible from that aspect. It's like, oh, well, if we don't have to give up no other assets, can I get a couple? Like, I just wonder if they have already secured a deal at numbers and, okay, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, if this deal goes through,
yes, if you become available,
yeah,
right. Yes,
we got the money available. This is what we be willing to offer you. And truthfully, I think anything over 10, you couldn't get anywhere else. Like, I don't think no one else is gonna offer you that. Like, truthfully, bro. Like, because where? And even in the event that you say, I'll just go take the minimum for, like we spoke before, with Miami, Toronto, what's another team? Golden State. So like any team like that, Philly, anybody that's like, that you might feel like, I got a chance to do something here, I'm gonna go there. I'll at least at minimum I'll have some minutes. He'd definitely get minutes and go to State. Then it's like, okay, that makes sense. But go ahead and do that. But they don't necessarily have the money to offer him like the Pelicans would in this scenario. Well, shout out to homie Nola Ant, man.
And not only do they not have the money, because you could find yourself in a situation where, God forbid, but you take a hit on the money hoping to win, and then let's say you get hurt and you don't have no security. So you took a hit on the money and you suffered something that hindered you. And it don't have to be an injury that knocked you out of the season, but just something that doesn't allow you to perform at optimum. Optimum efficiency. Like, do you want to take that kind of risk with your future on the line?
Gary Trent being the exception, right? Shout out to Gary Trent and them. That's like this, they a distant cousin of mine. Shout out to everybody over there doing their thing, Rich Paul and them. Once you take that minimum deal, you almost never go back to getting money. You ain't going back to the 2020 Twins. Once you getting that minimum, man. You know what? I want to shout out everybody in the building. We got 67 people in the building. We sitting at roughly 30 likes. So can you make sure y'all hit that like button? Let's get the likes up to at least 50, man. If you're on the Cheddar Chaz 9 channel, please subscribe to that channel as well. And also, man, special RIP to Michael Wright, aka Eddie Kane Jr., aka Ray Nathan. Man, incredible actor, powerhouse actor, man. Special rest in peace to him, of a major part of most of our childhoods. Like cultural icon, icon, man. Rest in peace to that brother, and condolences to his entire family. So if you're the Pelicans, right, and you looking to move Hawkins to a third team, now take into account Memphis has a roster log jam, Milwaukee still has a roster log jam. Some of these teams gotta move players and decrease their roster count. So it's going to be tough to send them somewhere without taking any salary back, bro. What's the most you're willing to pay to move Jordan Hawkins? Would you give up 2 seconds?
No.
2 seconds is too much?
No, I can't do it. I'm sorry. Like, and this is just all because I'm getting Ben Mathurin. That's a tough question, bro, because 2 seconds aren't like the most valuable, but like
in this new NBA though,
that's what I'm exactly my point. Like those seconds become increasingly draft picks in general become increasingly valuable because they give you flexibility. And then if that's the case, if I do that, like if I understand 1 second, right? And I understand having to pay the cost. And a lot of players will get moved for multiple seconds this offseason. So it's not like it's uncommon for it to be multiple seconds for that price. But I would have to believe that Ben Mathurin is like part of something for this year and at least next season. Like, right? I would hope.
I was like, you gotta play, Ben.
Yeah.
But I think if Ben get minutes, we already know Ben gonna show out. Like,
yeah,
if he get the minutes, to me, it's just about like now with that coaching staff who I got faith in, going into the season. I have no reason to doubt them whatsoever. They got to put it together, man. The rotations got to be crisp, and this is just in the event that this trade goes through. Like they gotta put it together, because I mean, you got situations like you got unlikely incentives. I don't think most guys will reach that as far as that fucking up the your tax room or what have you. But I think if you had a guard rotate or a perimeter rotation, let me just say perimeter rotation. If you had a perimeter rotation, and shout out to Nola Ant, because Nola Ant and he made a good point, but under this new CBA, how the new lottery rules work,
it's like if you're at the second.
Yeah, it's reversed. So if you're at the top of the first round, you'll be at the end of the second round. You know what I'm saying? So that's something. If you're the Pelicans, you could be like, well, worst case scenario, if we bad and we give us some seconds, it ain't really tripping. But you're in a position where you're the Pelicans, so it's like, I probably would want more seconds now, because I don't necessarily have to guarantee those deals. Whereas if you sign a motherfucker with a first or draft a person with a first, I don't care if you drafted them 29th. That's going to be a guaranteed deal more likely than not. One could say they may have made a little bit of a mistake giving Micah Peavy a guaranteed deal, but I like Micah Peavy, so we'll see ultimately what happens with that. But go ahead, my bad.
No, you good. I just was thinking, like, if you give, for example, if you give 1 second and you sign Ben to like a 1-and-1 prove it deal, right, with a team option or something like that. If it don't work out and you end up waiving Ben Mathurin or whatever the case may be, you're like, I only really gave up one option. Or just don't pick up the option. You like, I only gave up 1 second. We probably weren't, you know what I mean? We cleared salary, whatever the situation may be. We took a risk on a high, a high lottery draft pick or whatever a couple years ago. It just didn't work out. Once you start doing 2 and 3 seconds or something like that, like, no.
Now that's a lot of capital.
Yeah, exactly. It just, so it's how I would see it is, if you do 1 second, no matter really what happens, even if you end up not getting Ben Mathurin and you do it for 1 second, but you use 1 second to move Hawkins and create space to maybe do something else with somebody else. It's like, okay, I would be okay.
You could take on Zeke Naji for some seconds.
Exactly. So you could. I'm just saying,
hypothetically, you could do a lot of shit.
Yeah, you could be like, all right, well, fuck, this ain't work out, but we could like make some shit pop. If you give 3, let's say it take 3 seconds. Then it's like, okay, so we gave up 3 seconds to get Ben Mathurin. He better be cool. He better be playing. Like he
gotta be playing like 25 minutes. You give up 3 seconds.
Bro.
And them 25 minutes.
Renault was 1 second, and he like a starting center. Like they're starting caliber player, or like true rotational caliber players that you could pick up in the second round. It's just too much flexibility you give away.
Shout out to the homie Bayou Sniper. Say training camp is September 28th, I believe. Yeah, I think it is about like 5 weeks away. Shout out to the homie Leon. He said, why can't we just wait out Hawkins' contract and pull $37 million off the books? Well, it's not exactly $37 million off the books, because you got cap holes and things of that nature. Before you sign Sadiq Bey, it would be closer to around 20 million in like functional cap space. It wouldn't be straight up cap space. It would like you would have luxury tax space. You wouldn't have just like a free 37 million to spend. You would have, of course, your MLE and your exceptions and things of all that nature you could still utilize, but you wouldn't have like
you would have more. Yeah, you'd have more space, but you wouldn't have like a max slot.
You wouldn't have like a max slot or nothing like that. And this is in the event you don't extend Sadiq Bey and like a couple other things. Like the best case scenario for the Pelicans is DeJounte plays well and opts out. So
and
that and then that's a lot of money potentially falling off the books. Because that would be $67 million falling off the books. Like that would be fucking crazy.
Do you think there's any world? Let me present. I know we're talking about the Ben deal, but let me present you with a scenario. Do you think that there's any world they keep this team together? They play relatively well. DeJounte has a really good year, stays healthy. He opts out, and then they sign him to an extension.
Probably fucking Battle World from fucking Doomsday. Like some shit like some shit that's a fucking post-apocalyptic world. Please don't do that. I ain't gonna hold you. And I want him to play incredible, but I'm going no indeed.
I just wonder like if Zion, if all of these guys play really, really well, right? Yeah. And let's say, bro, let's say you make the second round, right? And DeJounte is important in this because DeJounte is going to play, and you need DeJounte to play well. And he should. He absolutely should. And let's say he's playing really, really well, and he opts out, and it's like, what's up with the extension?
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. If DeJounte, but see, I mean, I guess it depends on how you feel about
fears.
But if DeJounte was out, I'd be like, I'd take $22 million a year. Let's say he was willing to do. Let's say he was willing to do 25. Is that too much? If it was like 2 years, 25 maybe.
Okay.
Well, 2 years, 50 maybe.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, at that point, I'd be like, then why did I draft this guy?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Unless he's gonna start next to him.
Unless he's gonna start next to him. But I just don't see it. I don't know though. I mean, I hope everyone plays well and get that money. I just don't want everyone to necessarily get the money here because I'm just looking future. Like I'm just looking
down the line
here, looking down the line. Ryan say no, let him go. Yeah, man. Shout out to everybody in the building.
This is why our show is special. We present you with every opportunity, bro.
yo, man. You know what, DeJounte? Come on the show, bro. Go on the show,
That'll
bro.
be interesting to have y'all discuss this.
Yeah, and we having a Katrina anniversary coming up. So we're gonna run this quick 2 ads. Make sure y'all hit the like button, man. Let's get the likes up to 70 likes.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, I'm going to New Orleans. I remember when Hurricane Katrina happened, and I was like, man, I'll never go there. Straight up, like this is a true story. And
shouldn't be anywhere you don't want to be in life. I ain't gonna lie to you.
This woman obviously had lost her damn mind. She needs psychotropic medication. She pulls out her breasts and she's juggling them. Look like she about to fall over. Then she bends over and pulls down her panties, spreads her cheeks. I'm not lying. I'm telling you what's on the video. Spreads her cheeks. This is madness.
shout out to brother Quanell X and Dr. Matthews.
She trying so hard not to laugh.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm too unprofessional. I be busting out laughing at funerals. I'm way too unprofessional for certain shit. Bayou Sniper had a really good question earlier, man. He mentioned the Bleacher Report article today that you sent me. And it asks, who would be the Pelicans' best player in the next 3 years? And they had Derek Queen. What's your thoughts on that? To the homie Derek Queen. Shout out to DQ.
I think first off, shout out to them. Again, I was wondering if this is like foresight of Trey's no longer on the team, Zion's no longer on the team. Like I would wonder if they meet, and I didn't look like at the other teams on the list to kind of get an idea of what they meant, or if it was just kind of like, no matter who's on the team, this guy is going to be the best player. If let's say that is the case, that they believe that Derek is going to surpass like Trey and Zion and all of that, boy, that's some high ass expectations in my opinion, and kudos to them for believing it, I guess.
Yeah, and admittedly, I'm a little bit biased because I've worked with Bleacher Report in the past. But I'll say, look, if that comes to fruition, great. I just hope that the team is good in that scenario. I ain't mad at any world where Fears or Derek or anybody.
No,
just
if they're truly great, also.
Yeah, if they seize the reins and really ball the fuck out, like I'm all for it. I don't care if it's DeJounte. I don't care who it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you really go out there and seize the reins and you're the best player on a good team, I don't give a fuck who it is. You got my full support. Like, that's just what it is. Unless it's them bloodline dudes, because there's two different sports, wrestling and basketball. I'm tired of it. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm being a gentleman about it right now. I'm tired of it. What is this? Fucking Birmingham, Mississippi? You niggas throw the N. I know them boys teat white. Them boys say the N-word every day. Wake up, N-word. Go to sleep, N-word.
Man, what you been watching, man? What you been watching,
man, this
bro?
shit was all over Twitter the other day. I'm going to church, trying to do my thing, you know.
Trying to speak to the Lord, you know what I mean?
I opened up my phone, nigga. I'm like, what? Whoa. What is this? Like, is this fucking Def Comedy?
We ain't got no decorum these days, huh?
Like, is this Def Comedy Jam? What are these niggas doing? But shout out to the Louisiana girl in the building. Yeah, man. I definitely think this is a big year for Derek. We saw DeJounte working with Jeremiah Fears. I hope Jeremiah Fears got a food taster. Working with DeJounte poisoning his ass. But
here's another thought though, to your point, before you move on. But like you mentioned, like as people who comment and talk about players on the team, bro, and I know we've been like hard, you know, criticism for Herb Jones and like how he's played the last couple seasons. If Herb Jones comes out and is fucking incredible, like nobody would be happier than to say that they were wrong about Herb Jones earning that $20 million. Let Herb Jones comes out this season and just be a significantly better 3-point shooter, gets back to defending. Then it's kind of like that looked like a guy then you start being like, well, look, he's already under contract. We ain't got to worry about doing it. So like the way we talk about players is just based off like your more recent performances and how do you look based off what you've been doing. But everybody wants, like, I want every player on this team to be 100% the best versions of themselves. And like, even better, if Poole looks like the Poole that was in Golden State, fuck no, I don't want to let that version of Jordan Poole leave New Orleans. Yeah, no, like 37 million or not. Let that dude look like the heir apparent to Steph Curry here. And we look like we found a gem. No, I don't want that player to leave the team. And like you got to be consistent. Don't get me wrong, but like the discussion around said players would be different. That's all. I just wanted to put that out there.
Shout out to Talking for Life. The Bloodline, they're a wrestling faction of a historically profound WWE heritage and bloodline.
Was that Bray Wyatt and all of them?
No, that's the Wyatt family.
Okay.
Yeah, the Bloodline, they must be like an extension of the Ku Klux Klan or something. But these motherfuckers, they out of their mind. I ain't gonna lie, but but they're a wrestling faction. They got a hankering for the N-word, and I'm like, all right, y'all out y'all mind. But
Vince wouldn't let this slide. Vince had some kind of
Vince would be like, the only person saying the N-word around here is me.
Yeah.
The rest of y'all get it in line. Like we trying to run the business here. Vince was the man. I miss Vince, bro. I ain't gonna lie. But I say this. Look, man, as it pertains to Herb, DeJounte, any guys who underperformed last year, if they go out and play well this year, it don't make us wrong because it was true when we said it. They played like shit. We ain't making this up. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got no agenda against these people. I don't give a fuck. I hope you play extraordinary, get the most money as possible if we're winning. If we're not winning, then we got to consolidate. We got to make some moves. Same thing with Ben Mathurin. If Ben Mathurin goes out here and underperforms, I'm going to be like, damn, I wanted him to come join the team, but hey, my calculation was wrong. It hasn't worked out. You feel me? But hopefully they're able to, maneuver some things, create some minutes for guys. And Ben, if that deal goes through, because I feel confident that is on the cusp, but things change so rapidly.
You don't close until you close.
You close. You don't like. I went and saw a house today, right? And me, I'm not a person that gets tricked by the photos on Zillow and Redfin.
All the aesthetics, yeah.
Yeah, but I works with people who are easily tricked. When I saw the house today, I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You got duped. Yeah. Check the Adam's apple. You got duped. I was looking, I was like, what the fuck is this? So, and again, that could be this. A lot of people felt that way last season with a couple people that were brought in. They're like, well, we expected this, and the deliverables weren't necessarily there. But and hopefully, things change. And things change fast, bro. Like, again, you know, you don't want to be the person caught holding the bag when you bring in a guy and now he decides to be the worst fucking player in history. Because that happened to the Pelicans a few times. Devontae Graham, Tomas Satoransky, other guys that you brought in who were like promising players. And then when they came to the organization, it just didn't pan out. My biggest question as we move forward is if this deal does get across the finish line, where do the minutes come from? What do the rotations look like? And who's left without a dancing partner? And I think today it would be Michael Peavy, who I didn't anticipate playing. 100%. Well, I'm not even going to name those guys. I'm going to name the guys that we thought were going to play, right? I think Herb takes a haircut. Bryce takes a haircut.
I think Bryce would be out of the rotation.
I think Bryce would probably be out of the rotation, right? And until December 15th, January 15th comes around, more people become trade eligible. Because you know by November, December, some teams are going to unceremoniously pull the plug.
That's when you'll start seeing. I think November, December is when you'll start seeing, okay, maybe we need to, because that's when you really start being like, okay, if we're not really out of it, or we're like more ahead, and then you should players get disgruntled around that time too, like players that you didn't think might be available. Somebody fuck somebody's girl, and then now all of a sudden they want out.
Hey, it happens.
It's the NBA, man. This is life. You never know. You never know. Like, and why people want to get out of the situation.
You could have a situation like where the Nets, with the Nets, where the deals aren't necessarily spectacular right now, and you go into that season. Maybe now Michael Porter Jr. is like, man, get me out of here, and you're like, all right, well, look, we know what we're doing. You know, it ain't. We're not moving forward with Michael Porter Jr. Now, if you're the Pelicans, you can trade for him in November, December, you know what I'm saying? Maybe December. That's probably when everyone knows just about where they'll be. And you set yourself up potentially to even do more action at the deadline if it comes to that. I just think the cleanest way for this deal to go through is if Ben is bought out or waived and the Clippers just pay the hit or whatever. Pelicans come through. Yo, we traded Hawk to Memphis for AJ. We waived AJ, and here goes 12 million for you, Ben. 2 years, $24 million.
Yep, I can see that. I think I'd be comfortable with that. I what I would like is for it to be a 1-1.
Yeah, same here.
I would like for it to be a 1-1. And maybe. Let me ask you this: if it was like 2 for 20, but the second year had to be guaranteed, would you do it?
Yeah, if it was 2 for 20, as in 10-10.
Yeah, like you save a little bit. You save a little bit, but you give them that second year guaranteed. Okay,
I would do it absolutely because
he's still a talented player.
Yeah, and not only that, the Pelicans with a bunch of cap space, I just don't see them as a threat at the free agent market. I only see them as a threat via trade. So, and if you're going to do that, unless you're just going to absorb guys into cap space, which you don't have at the moment, but if you were going to absorb someone into cap space, like, you know what I'm saying? You gotta have stuff.
Here's another possibility I don't think we've talked about or even like truly put much thought into. Like, what's the words on Sadiq Bey's extension? Because you haven't really heard much about Sadiq Bey's extension, and you would think that they would get that done or get those numbers.
What I heard on the Sadiq Bey extension front, I think to some degree, maybe the Gary Trent Jr. deal disrupted that things. A little bit. But because I think his max was still close to 20, 19, 20. I'm not doing it. I'm just keeping a dollar. And I'm a fan of Sadiq Bey's game. I would not do that. To me, my cutoff is 18, bro. Like, so just on the real.
What if, what if hypothetically the Ben Mathurin deal, we looking at like rotational minutes and where he's gonna play? What if they struggling with the Sadiq Bey deal and that's where the minutes are coming from? At some point, maybe Sadiq Bey is in a package with somebody that we're not expecting moving out because they can't agree on the extension. If I could get Sadiq, I'm just saying, like, would you say Sadiq Bey and Ben Mathurin are relatively comparable players to a degree? Like, can I get Ben Mathurin to give me what I got from Sadiq Bey to a degree from a production standpoint?
I think today you could, and I do think the upside for Ben is higher, but I also think that if Wofford was getting rotational minutes, and shout out to everybody in the building, make sure y'all hit the like button. If Wofford was getting rotational minutes and Derek played well this year, I think that makes Sadiq Bey more what's the word I'm looking for? Expendable, right? Because Sadiq Bey at this stage in his career is really like a 4, like a undersized 4, whereas Ben is a true backcourt perimeter player. Like, I think it would have more to do with how Derek looks at the 4 and how if Wofford gets the opportunity, how he looks. Because Sadiq Bey still dead eye shooter on the catch and shoot, still like tough, represents everything they want in this, like for this team as far as identity wise, buy-in. Troy Weaver drafted him. Money
numbers gotta make sense though, because
numbers gotta make sense. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, just thinking about like everything you're saying is true. My thought is just if he's like, man, I just suffered a brutal knee injury.
Yeah.
This is I'm playing really maybe the best of my career, really well.
To get paid.
My opportunity to, cash in my version of cashing in. Do I want to take 16 when I could possibly get 20? Do you want to take a chance at possibly getting 20? I don't know, but I'm just thinking, a little outside the box right now. So it's just, I don't think he gets traded, but I'm just wondering if some of these moves, because we're wondering where the minutes are gonna come from. I'm just, if they're having some disagreements with Sadiq, he is in the last year of his deal. I'm just wondering if that's something we haven't really put too much thought into.
I think it's more likely that Sadiq just his minutes. I think his minutes were going to get cut no matter what this year. Because with Zion playing more minutes and the addition of a couple other guys playing more minutes, I think Sadiq, because 30. How many minutes did he play last year? Hold on, I got the numbers right in front of me. 31 minutes for Sadiq Bey is a lot. In the season before that, he played 32. He averages for his career around 30. I think you want Sadiq Bey closer to around 25.
Yeah. Around max.
Yeah, 28 max.
Yeah.
And with Herb is at 28. I think you want Herb closer.
25,
if it's up to me,
24.
If it's up to me, I'm gonna say 22.
Right. I'm bad with 22, like 22, 24. That's like 12 minutes a half, something like that. 10, 12 minutes a half.
So if I know there's not a exact science here, right? But let's just say you cut 8 minutes from her, hypothetically speaking. You take all of Bryce's minutes. You cut about 6 minutes from Sadiq. Not yet, about 16. Let me see where Bryce was at. I can't imagine Bryce played a lot of minutes. And there's going to be some nights where Bryce is playing because guys miss games. And Bryce played 21 minutes. So Bryce might, and he only played in 42 games. That's a nice sample size though. But Bryce might get like 10 minutes. Yeah. So if you trim all like Bay's minutes, trim Herb's minutes, trim Bryce's minutes, you could probably get to around 20, 22. And if Ben's on fire, he gonna play 26, 28. Yeah, because Ben never really been a full-time starter anyway. Like his role at this stage in his career is
a rotational guy.
A rotation guy. And look, you can make the argument. I don't know how sound of an argument it would be, but I'd be open to listening. You can make an argument that maybe he could start on this team, or maybe Sadiq could start. You know, my preference would be to start Bryce because he's a low usage guy. But you can make an argument for several people to start at that 3 position or 4 position.
However you want to play. Absolutely.
Shout out to Lala. Nah, we ain't get rid of Hawkins yet. Hawkins still around. Shout out to Hawkins. Hawkins got staying power, man. If you're in the building, make sure y'all hit that like button. It said the Clippers and Hawks. I'm sorry, Clippers are like the Hawks and Grizzlies, 17, 18 players. So guys got to consolidate.
Yeah.
Got to consolidate.
The thing with the Grizzlies is, yes, they have to make moves, but like, and I'm not saying that they're going into the season thinking we're going to lose, but they're clearly in a rebuild, right? Like they're not worrying about what, like they're just making whatever smart business moves needs to be made. So it's like they have to do something, so you know they're going to make moves, but it's different than the Pelicans because we're trying to actively compete for something right now, right? So like it's the amount of stress and or strain is just a little different for the Grizzlies and the Clippers. Like, and that's another good thing. That's another point too, where like if the Clippers are already over the roster limit, it's kind of like, why would they even worry about retaining the rights to Ben Mathurin? It's like we ain't gonna do nothing for you anyway, bro.
Yeah, Brandon, you got Derek, you got Grady, like you got a lot of Bill.
Bill.
Which Bill you talking about?
No, I'm sorry, I meant Ben. Bradley Bill.
Oh yeah, Bradley Bill. Then you got a few different guys on that perimeter. Garland, that just kind of makes that roster just stacked. There's a crazy log jam there. You just drafted a promising young rookie who you anticipate giving a lot of minutes to. So for the Pelicans, bro, it's all about getting the deal across the finish line.
My bad, bro.
No, you good. My preference would still be for them to create 2 roster spots. If possible, but because I still want them to take a fly on Koloko, but I just don't see a world where they create 2 roster spots. But you never know. Maybe something happens the way they're able to create a second one. And maybe Bryce. Yeah, you good.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, you good. Maybe Bryce goes out. Maybe PV goes out. One of those. Maybe even Carlo goes out, or maybe Carlo rises to the occasion. He becomes that second big or third big you need. Leon said, would y'all trade Sadiq Bey for draft picks to clear some wing minutes out? We could use those picks to upgrade our bigs. I don't think Sadiq Bey has that much value, to be honest. I think you're looking at like a protected first. For $6 million, I'd rather just keep him, to be honest.
Yeah, I think
it was good, Chief.
I just think with you're talking about like the players and stuff, bro. This team, if they bring in Ben Mathurin, and again, there's a world where that's your prize signing of the offseason. I think they're looking for like heavy competition at every level on this team. And I think if you don't, because you can make a case, right, that the players they bring in, the players that are like the Kolokos and those, like that contingency of guys, like you can make a case that the 17 guys or whatever the number is right now potentially competing for roster spots, or you don't know who's better. So I think you could see major shift if like you could just wait for it to kind of sort itself out during training camp. And then you still can make moves, because if certain guys just look like they're not up to snuff or up to par, and like, you know, let's say maybe PV doesn't look as good as we thought he would look at this point or whatever the case may be, then it's kind of like, all right, maybe PV and Carlo, to the point that you were just making, is like maybe those guys are packaged because the competition level is higher than what it's been, and you know the expectation is raised, I guess.
Yeah, I think, I mean, those being like minimum, well, less than minimum contract guys, I think it'd be easier for teams to absorb them, and or shit, maybe Watford just looked incredible, and you just like, all right, now wait a minute here.
Yeah,
we don't really need player X because to me, the Pelicans again just got a lot of guys We don't know how those guys are necessarily going to complement what you're looking to do. Some do a number of things, some do one thing, some don't really do much of anything special. And I mean, to me, the moves they need to make are clear, but you know, they're gonna evaluate and see what happens. We're gonna get to some of the star questions and get out of here, man. We appreciate everybody. Make sure y'all hit that like button. We closing on the hour mark, man. Just wanted to bring y'all the latest and the greatest, and ultimately we'll see if this deal gets across the finish line. If you know, or if you know, some things fall apart sometimes. Like maybe teams are asking for more than you originally anticipated. Shout out to homie Jeremy. He said, "What does a trade for Ben look like right now?" I don't know if it would be a direct 1-for-1 based on the limited knowledge I have. I would imagine the trade is more like, if they wanted to create a trade exception, I guess it would have to be like Ben taking a qualifying offer, the Pelicans sending, and y'all double check because I'm not sure if he'd be restricted if he not restricted. I'm not sure if he would be restricted from trade if he was to take the qualifying offer. Like, I don't know if they'd have to wait
like a certain amount of time.
Yeah, a certain amount of time. But in theory, let's say he took the qualifying offer. The Pelicans sent Hawkins to Memphis for AJ, waived them immediately, and took back Ben Mathurin, and the Clippers created a trade exception. If they didn't do it like that, let's just say Ben is bought out into the free agent market, and he has a promise from the Pelicans trade Hawkins to the Memphis, waive AJ, then they got a promise with Ben that they're gonna give him like $12 million. Like, that would be probably the cleanest two ways to do it.
Yeah, I agree. I just think he sent to like Hawkins is the guy that's likely moved. Like, Hawkins is the must-go guy. And if the thing is if it is not Hawkins, that would be a surprise if it's not Hawkins that's moved, in my opinion. I think that would be the surprise more than anything. Like, if it's not Hawkins that's moved, that would be the surprise. And
I would be really surprised.
Yeah, exactly. So at some point, essentially, it's Hawkins going out, more than likely with a second. And then, you know, I don't think anybody's sending the Clippers anything for Ben Mathurin. And I think they've accepted that fate. So, like, you'll probably see, because unlike Peyton Watson, who had a higher value, you know what I mean, where it gives Ben
no trade clause. So he would have to waive it in that regard, Louisiana guy?
Yeah. So,
he has to waive the no trade.
Nah, that would be interesting.
I guess if he really wants to come to New Orleans, I guess he'd be willing to waive it.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. But again, that's the thing. That's the thing too. Like, if he took that offer and did have a "you can't trade me anywhere," to your point, I wonder if there's another team willing to step in and do something at the qualifying number that he accepted. But again, I don't think Ben is a highly sought after guy at this stage.
Yeah, I think he would just try to go if he entered unrestricted free agency somehow, and he had like if it was just minimum offers on the table, the Bulls weren't really that serious. The Bucks got a roster crunch themselves. I think he would just go to a contender on a minimum. If for all that, you might as well. Shout out to everybody. We got more star questions here. My bad. Bobby Sniper said, could look to Chicago for Hawkins with the abundance of their second round picks. Could also call the Knicks for a salary dump and second round picks. They can take a low risk flyer on a young shooter. Chicago makes a lot of sense to me.
I've been saying that. I would love to send Hawkins back to Bryce and like actually try and get something. Like,
if he could do a 2-for-1, that would be great.
Yeah, it would be ideal, but it'd be nice to get, even if you say, look, give me Hawkins for a second. It's like, sure. You know what I mean? Like, sure, we'll 100% do that. If you could do something like that and got Ben Mathurin with that money, that would be phenomenal.
Yeah. Shout out to Todd. He said, I see chatter about Ben Mathurin. Is this legit or just something to talk about hypothetically? Well, the rumors are legit. I can say that. Now, whether the deal gets across the finish line, we'll have to see. but it's certainly some legs to this.
Yeah.
Zachary says, "How do you guys like Mathurin?" Pacers fan here. Shout out to Zachary. I like Mathurin. I like him a lot. I think he played well in his tenure. Still got some upside there. Shot the ball better last year when he was with the Pacers before the trade to the Clippers. But I'm a fan of Ben Mathurin's game. Like how he rebounds to get to the free throw line.
I like Ben. Man, I like Ben Mathurin a lot. I think we tend to like forget that these guys are like truly young players also, you know what I mean? So like I expect Ben Mathurin also to get a lot better. He is an NBA player at the end of the day, you know what I mean? And he does have a true skill set. Like we see Ben Mathurin against some of the best defenders be able to score. So like it's not as if it's one of those things where like the scoring isn't a real thing, and he doesn't do other things too. Like I think Ben Mathurin is a real player, and like at the point where we are, we need players like a Ben Mathurin.
Facts. Leon said, "Y'all don't think we can get an unprotected first from the Nuggets to take like a Spencer Jones or Zeke for Zeke?" Nah, they just brought back Spencer, so I don't think they would do that for Spencer. For Zeke Naji, maybe a lightly protected first, but I don't know if I would rather do that at this stage.
I think Sadiq's value was too much as based off when last seen and what he, the scoring outburst that he had, the consistent scoring, the shooting and versatility and everything. I think neither one of those players are better than Sadiq Bey at the end of the day. So it's kind of like in an unprotected first from Denver is kind of.
I just can't see Denver doing it.
No, but I'm just, even if they were willing to do it, it's just kind of like, I think I'd rather have Sadiq Bey. Yeah.
If it was like Spencer Jones and an unprotected first, I probably would do it. Probably because Spencer Jones on like a $6 million hit. But for Zeke Naji, I couldn't do it because Zeke Naji on the books for the next couple of years.
Yeah,
I think
so.
Their GM was just fucking awful in Denver.
Bro, I think he was doing stuff just to spite Malone at the time. It's another thing. Denver don't have no picks.
And it's funny
get picks, huh?
Yeah, I think they just got that Cavs first.
They got that pick, that pick from
Cleveland.
So
I think that's the only one they got.
That out.
And then they sent that pick to get rid of Michael Porter Jr. They got their GM was terrible. No wonder that GM was fucking fired. That dude was terrible. They should have fired him and Mike Malone at the same time. Or they really should have stuck with Mike Malone. Because they fired him. They fired Mike first and then fired the GM, right?
Yeah, it was like they fired Mike, then like 2 weeks later they fired the GM or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Got Joker coaching in the playoffs.
Say Poole and Herb for Zach LaVine. Would you do it to clear Herb's future contract? I probably do it. I probably do that. Poole and Herb combined make 48. Zach can shoot. Zach a real deal player. I would do that. I would do that deal to clear Herb's salary. I would do that. I'll do that today. I would do that deal.
You would?
Yeah.
I like Zach game too. If I did that, I guess I'm still targeting Michael Porter Jr., but I guess this is in the event that you can't get Michael. I would do that if you can't get Michael Porter Jr. I'll put it that way.
Oh, well, yeah.
Like, because if I'm gonna do that, I might as well do
the still got the DeJounte salary.
Yeah. Oh, and there's another thing too. Like, if you did, let's say you did do the Zach LaVine, are you giving Zach LaVine an extension, or is it like no way you get? So that's what I'm saying. So it's kind of like,
to me, I just want him to expire.
Yeah, if I have to strike out on Michael Porter Jr. first before I do, you know what I mean? I do that.
Yeah,
do that move.
I just
don't want my I don't want my major salary pieces moved. That's all I mean.
Yeah,
like I don't want my major salary chips moved first.
Yeah, because you could probably just do Poole for Michael Porter Jr. 1-for-1 and just take the $6 million hit, or you could do a combination. Yeah, with Ben Mathurin it changes, right? Or I mean, you could repackage guys down the line potentially.
Yeah.
If you bring in Michael Porter Jr., then Sadiq Bey is incredibly expendable at that point.
Yes.
So if it was something like DeJounte and Sadiq Bey for Michael Porter Jr., then it's like, you know what I'm saying? Now, some might say that's a lot of value you giving up for Michael Porter Jr., but you know, realistically, it becomes a bit more expendable at that point. Like, there's a pathway to do it, like to do both things. It's just like, and you would still clear that money for next year. Like, no matter what, you would have that money cleared for next year. Damn, that do sound kind of nice. I ain't gonna lie. Now think about it, shit, that would be nice. But and you got all the shooting in the world. There's a bunch of light-skinned niggas on the court, but you got a lot of shooting. You got a lot of and you got money going into next season. Like, you could, that would be all right. I would probably do that. I ain't gonna lie to you.
You should work up a couple trades later and see you post them and see what it look like.
Because basically, I'm giving Herb and Sadiq Bey's next contract to Michael Porter Jr. Right? Yes. And Zach LaVine just falling off the books.
Falls off the books. So you would do Herb and who?
Hypothetically speaking, if it was like Herb and Jordan Poole for Zach LaVine, right? And because that money is about even. In fact, you might be sending out a little bit more. I'm not sure if they could do that deal. But you create a roster spot, right? Then this is totally hypothetical. Then you did DeJounte and Sadiq. Or it probably had to be DeJounte and Sadiq. So DeJounte and Sadiq for
MPJ.
Michael for MPJ.
That's 2 2-for-1s. You create a shit ton of roster spots. You'd have
space.
So your lineup would be
LaVine.
No, it don't work because you got Fizz, LaVine, Trey, Zion.
Why it don't work?
Well, no. You're right. It does. Fizz, LaVine. No, Fizz, LaVine, Trey.
You don't gotta start Jeremiah this year. You don't gotta start.
The boys ain't gonna have no guard on the floor.
LaVine.
No.
because at this stage, Fears is like a 2 at this stage. Like, for right now, he's not like a ball distributor. You could still have him as the backup point. Just start Messi at the 5, Michael Porter Jr., Zion. God. Yeah, it's financially it's very possible.
Yeah.
And again, if you it's very possible.
Now it's not. You'd have some boy if you convinced Zach LaVine, to come off that bench.
Yeah,
he wouldn't at 49 mil. But
I just don't know why. But why would I have him come off the bench though?
I just don't think you got no guard to be able to like.
You think Fizz more of a guard than Zach LaVine?
Yeah, like for what they're gonna have to, because I'm thinking about you got a guard who like none of them guarding, even attempting to guard Maxey consistent, like running around with them consistently. You know what I mean? Like even just defend like Maxey, Steph, the point guard would be brutal.
I feel like it's brutal now. Really, I don't know.
I just think lineup wise, it would be
100% all offense, 0 defense lineup, except for Zion would probably be your best perimeter defender, and Eve
elite scoring.
Yeah, you would have to outscore everyone.
Oh
like
my God.
The other team, your thing would be like the other team if they just can't miss. If they miss, then it's an easy bucket for you on the other end. They just can't miss. But boy, that would be a terrible defensive team.
Boy,
unless Eve became like fucking Rudy Gobert or something. But then the next year,
you shoot the lights out, and Trey Zion and fucking Zach LaVine, because Zach he's still athletic on your wing.
Zach LaVine can play. He just can't be a top 2 or 3 player on your team.
Boy, it'll be fun to watch. I tell you that. It'll be fun to watch.
And then you could play lineups with Fears and Zach, because Zach can shoot. So if Fizz get downhill kicking the ball, like there would be a lot of lineups that you could play together. It's just, again, you wouldn't have much defense. Shout out to the homie I see in the building. Say Fizz is such a paint touch generator that he will allow for potential assists more than just about any other guard on the roster or potential acquisitions mentioned. Yeah. I ain't
gonna lie, I'll say this. I'd be more willing to do some shit that's dumb and like start MPJ at the 5. Like, if the reason I say that is, bro, James Borrego was playing Herb at the 5. You was playing Herb and Sadiq Bey.
But it was bad.
But that's not Zach LaVine and Michael Porter Jr. either.
But so I'm confused. So you saying that so you can start Fears with Zach?
Yeah, so I can have Zion. So my lineup would be Zion, Trey, Fears, Zach, and MPJ.
I couldn't do that. I need somebody. I need at least a point guard to come off the bench.
Ooh,
I need at least a second unit guy. I don't know. But something like that is possible. It's not like out of this world. Like as far as like
y'all was, they was. The only reason I even said it is because you was fucking playing. You was playing majority of your minutes with no center anyway. Like you was playing Herb, Sadiq, Zion, like majority of your 5.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I'm looking at what I would like. Even the lineup I say, I'm like, boy, that would be the worst perimeter defense.
Absolutely, that's
known to man.
Boy, y'all better get buckets.
Even though it's one of them things where you like, these dudes ain't gonna be here next year anyway. Like you talking about like Levine, like Levine going next year anyway. But still, even in the short term,
listen, that shit better not be lightning in the bottle. These motherfuckers go out there and then everybody playing. Porter Jr. playing for money, Zion playing for money,
Levine playing for
money. Man, these dudes.
that should look like the Hunger Games.
Boy, them dudes out there come out there give you they best versions of themselves. And these motherfuckers.
But see, that's the thing too. I was about to say, neither one of those teams in with Sacramento and with the Nets, they don't really want. Well, with the Nets, because they don't want to take on any long-term salary anyway.
No.
So it's not necessarily realistic. It's possible, it's doable, but
you never know, man. Let a team start 2-10 or whatever the fuck they start, because both of I think that's on the table for Sacramento and Brooklyn. 2-12.
Sacramento. Sacramento want to get younger, so
So like
they better off they better off letting Zach expire. Or taking them to the deadline, see if you get maybe Zach playing out of his mind, seeing you can get a second. Because worst case scenario, he expires.
Yep.
So
that'd be interesting, bro.
Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure they hit the like button, man. Al, tell the people they can find you at, bro. Shout out to Mike.
Appreciate y'all, bro. Yeah, them lineups are bad. It'd be fun, but I think we'd be in a better situation. But man, appreciate everybody, bro. Again, I'm on vacation right now, but I had to tap in for the people. Always, y'all can catch me at Pels in the Blender on YouTube or just say Davis on X, bro. I appreciate everybody.
Yes, indeed, man. Subscribe to this channel at Cheddar Chaz. Also, subscribe to Cheddar Chaz 9 if you haven't already. Hit the like button, share the stream, and hopefully something happens soon. If not, I don't know when I'll see y'all again. But if something happens soon, I'll be back. But if not, I'm back on hiatus. I'm on my pen game right now. I'm on vacation too. So y'all be cool, be smooth, stay safe, have a good productive week, and we out, man. Peace.
Like I had the lotto. I'm coming through like 100 doing this 1 or 2s. You don't know if the smoke from the gun I told, from the blunt I blew. Got them sick as the flu. But this she be humming too. Got your chicken in here and she think it's the tension in here. When the enemy near, what the f you wanna do? I'm a G.